Hey, this is Isabelle Powell, your local realtor here in San Jose, California. This video, I'm going to talk to you all about earnest money deposit, what it is, how much it is, and where it takes place throughout the purchase transaction. Earnest money deposit is a deposit made to the seller in good faith from the buyer wanting to purchase the home. Earnest money deposit, also known as EMD, lets the seller know that the buyer is serious about purchasing their house. So you may be asking yourself, what is the amount for EMD? Well, EMD is a percentage, and that percentage is typically 3% of the purchase price. So let's see what that 3% looks like in this scenario. So say you're interested in purchasing a home and you want to offer $1.2 million for the house. So 3% of that is going to be $36,000, and that will be your EMD deposit if the seller accepts your offer. Your EMD goes towards the down payment, and the remainder will be due at closing. Now, if you're trying to do the math on what that looks like and how much money you would need to purchase a home, let's go ahead and use that $1.2 million purchase price scenario and break it down. So let's say the total percentage for down payment is 5% on your loan that you received from your lender. So that 5%, 3% of that is your EMD that you've already deposited to the seller if your offer was accepted, and the remaining 2% will be due at closing. So in this scenario, that's $36,000 for EMD. And the remaining 2%, which comes out to $24,000, will be due at closing. So what happens now when your offer has been accepted? Your EMD will be collected by a third party within the transaction, and that typically will be an escrow company, a title company, or a legal firm. Depending on the terms that were written in the offer that has been now accepted, your earnest money deposit will need to be deposited into the third-party escrow account within either 1 to 3 business days. Your earnest money deposit will remain in that third-party escrow account until the day of closing. So now what happens after that? The seller has taken their property off of the market temporarily until the transaction closes. And so there's some costs that can be associated if the buyer decides to back out of the offer. And that is why contingencies are in place. So if a buyer decides to back out an offer, what's at stake is that EMD that is held in that escrow account. So what happens if the buyer no longer wants to move forward with the home? What happens with the EMD? It depends on the contingencies, if any, were written into the contract. So let's say, for example, the buyer had written into the contract an appraisal contingency. So the buyer can ask for a price reduction, or they can cover the difference, or they can back out of the transaction. If the appraisal contingency is in place and they decide to no longer move forward with the transaction, they will receive their EMD back. If you found this video to be helpful, hit the subscribe button. I'll be sharing a lot more videos about the real estate transaction and what to expect for buyers. Share this with someone that is thinking about buying a home, and look out for more videos. Don't forget to follow me on other social platforms. I'll list down in the description box.